Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm here today to bring you the NRL22 monthly course of fire for the month of June 2025. Now, before we dive into the course of fire, I need to apologize. After the national championship, I had a bit of a expected and also slightly unexpected shakeup in my career. Typically, I try to push these videos out immediately after I shoot the match, so you get as much time with the content to see how I approached it and maybe have it help you approach the stages yourself. Got super slowed down, had to put the editing of this aside for a little bit simply because of the career stuff that was going on. So I'm sorry this took so long to get to you, but I'm really excited for the match. Now, it was an adaptive friendly match, which I think is absolutely awesome. We spent most of the match shooting from a standing or high kneeling position. I really liked the course of fire. I had a lot of fun shooting it. I think it was fun and challenging in unique ways that we haven't necessarily seen a bunch this year. It was a lot of fun shooting it. I think in the entire 56 round course of fire, I dropped only 4 or 5 impacts. You'll see them shortly in the video. So just, it was a great match. You know, I'm very happy with the performance. It feels like a return to self. So with that being said, if any of this helps you or you enjoy it or anything, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. Interacting with the video goes a long way to helping me bring more of this to you. So with that being said, guys, get out there and shoot, and let's get after it. On the start signal, engage the targets with 1 shot each from the tire in the following order and manner. Left side, far, large, then small, near. Right side, near, far, large, then small. Front of the tire, far, large, then small, near. And the rear of the tire, near, far, large, then small.
Yes. Stand by. Begin.
All right, guys. So on this stage, tires are never really a super stable prop. They're always a little bit bouncy. And with these being propped up on the cinder blocks, it's the same kind of deal, right? So the goal was to put my bag on the tire and either load the tires with my weight to try and make them stabilize, or put as little weight on it as possible to also help affect less bounce. I went with less weight because I wasn't trusting of the tires holding up under a loaded weight. So I only dropped 1 on that first string, which was not terrible considering how much bounce I'm seeing in my reticle. Now I moved to the front of the tire here, and you got to put your bag end to end to get it high enough to be able to get on target. I didn't love that. However, it did help make the position on the tire way more stable. Was able to pull off 3 impacts there. Really, really happy with that position, despite it being something I didn't think was going to be very helpful. Dropped my bag into the tires. I was an idiot on that, but a bunch of other guys did it, so I don't feel as bad as I could. It got me low on time, though, so I get in position and I rush through these final 3 shots, trying to get to the stage and not drop as many shots as I could, running out of time. On the start signal, engage the target with 1 shot each from the top of the Sawhorse in the following order. KYL, support side. Far. KYL, support side. Far. KYL, strong side. Far. KYL, strong side. Far. Smallest target on the KYL. Far. No dialing of elevation is allowed after the clock starts. Windage and parallax is allowed. A chair or 5-gallon bucket may be used to sit on.
Ready? Arms up. Shooter ready? Stand by. Begin.
All right, guys. So the goal was to get my bag and my rifle down as quickly as possible and then sit on the 5-gallon bucket, knowing that I had to shoot these first 4 shots with my support or non-dominant hand. So I get my rifle loaded, I get on target, and I just try to do my best to have a really good trigger press with my non-dominant hand. Results in 2 impacts. I get back on target, again, taking my sweet time, because non-dominant hand shooting is something that I do a good bit of, but I'm not super comfortable because I don't do it as often as shooting with my dominant hand, like most competitors out there. Now, switched over to the dominant side, and it's basically just run this, nice and stable, but making sure I don't time out. Now, had a brief jam there, thought I was going to need a knife, turned out I didn't, but it caused a mental lapse, held too far left on that far target, and I missed. So, finish off here, boom, done, and it just all came together for a down 1 stage. On the start signal, engage the targets small to large with 1 shot each in the following order: 55-gallon barrel, near, ladder far, 55-gallon near, ladder far, different rung, and 55-gallon near.
Spotter ready? Ready? Stand by. Begin.
All right, guys. So we got to start on the 55-gallon barrel here. I want to be as close to the rim of that barrel to get as much bounce out of that prop as I can. So near targets, small, large, pretty straightforward. Just doing my best to be super stable and on top of it. Dial for the far targets, because why not? We've got time. 2 minutes is a super long time for any kind of stage like this at any of these style matches. So I wanted to make sure that I both dialed and parallaxed for these stages while I could. So shoot the small on the top and then the large on the bottom. Now that top ladder rung is my least stable position because I have to be almost standing straight up, which means I can't load any weight into the prop and make that stable. I get back to the barrel, same thing, pull back towards that lip to get as much bounce out of it as I can. Turret is wound back down, parallax is done, impact, impact. Now, get that dial set to my far distance. Now for the 4th rung on the ladder. This is a much more stable standing shooting position. So I parallax for the far target. I load my weight into that ladder, and I focus on being on target and having a good, smooth trigger pull. Dial back down to 0 for the near targets. Transition. Once I'm there, going to do a quick parallax and send those final 2 shots to end the stage. Running low on time, but I know as long as I pull the trigger right, you're going to have a good day. Down 1. On the start signal, engage the target with 1 shot each in the following order and manner. Tip 1, left, far large, small, right. Tip 2, far large, small, right, left. Tip 3, right, far large, small, left. This is the timed tiebreaker stage.
Spotter ready?
All right, so this is the time stage, and I want to try and be as quick as I can on this, doing no dialing, just holding, getting on the target, making sure I'm on target with as little wobble as I can muster in a quick time, and then squeezing off a good, solid trigger press. It's all standing on a tank trap for me. On that the triangular based standing position where I'm leaning forward and putting my weight on it, getting to the second tip, following the same idea, slowing myself down a little bit to affect less wobble on the target, and it has great results, right? You see the reticle is relatively still, you're not moving a ton for solid impacts. Now I'm on to the very final position. Check my dope card, make sure that I have the proper sequence so I don't drop shots because of sequencing. Slow down that reticle, get an impact. Slow down, get an impact there. One more on the top. And then I go to that very final target and I make sure I'm stable, pull the trigger for a 80-second clean run.
Shows how to do it.
On the start signal, engage the targets with one shot each in the following order and manner. Position 1, near, far, near. Position 2, far, near, far. Position 3, near, far, near. Position 4, far, near, far. Available positions are the left and right outside, left and right inside. Inside positions are considered left and right of center, kickstand. All positions must be used across the single highest rung you can reach. A club tripod for tripod rear will be supplied.
Spotter ready. Ready now. Ready? Stand by. Begin.
All right, so final stage here. And knowing that I have tripod rear, I want to use that, right? It's going to make this a tack table and super ridiculously stable to shoot. I parallaxed a little bit further away than the close target so that I'd have in the optic a better view of both targets, a better clarity. To you guys looking at it through the trigger cam, it doesn't look as nice. But to the shooter's eye looking through the scope, it is way more clear than what you guys see. Now, shifting over, getting nice and tight with that tripod rear. This is a, like I said, very stable position. There is not much movement at all if you practice tripod rear. So just get on target, pull. I think I missed that one simply because the target was still swinging a little bit. The trigger pull was good, the reticle was good. It just happens a little bit. Really, really like doing this in this manner because it takes any kind of wobble out of it. We also shot this option 2 with a minute 45 par time instead of 2 minutes. Now you'll see here, the tripod gets hung up on the pyramid. That was the danger of running this support system on this stage. You can see I still had time left. I got it worked out. Impact, impact, and here we go. Impact for a total of down 5 on the match.